Welcome to Module 2, all about finding freelance clients, which is a big topic that comes up whenever I have coaching clients or folks are messaging me on LinkedIn. So I'm really excited about this module. I take what might be considered a different approach to selling and acquiring clients in that I do not sell in the traditional sense. I don't send cold emails. I don't send cold DMs to people on LinkedIn. I don't really do any traditional outbound sales tactics. I do, however, give information away freely and focus on relationships with people I know. I know from previous roles with other marketing and sales professionals, and that includes folks that I meet on LinkedIn who, were strangers and then we hit it off and now I consider them friends. So this module will not cover traditional sales strategies, sales scripts, or really anything like that. However, I will go into acquiring clients via relationships and building credibility. This is how I've built my freelance business, so I really believe in this approach. I value working with people who value my work and are in it for the long term. And I found that by leading with relationships and trust, I'm able to attract clients who retain longer and better match my ideal client profile. All right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the lessons within this module. First, we'll start with our core network. And then we'll go into ways to expand your network. Lesson 3 is all about nurturing relationships. And then lesson 4 will be establishing trust and building credibility, aka my favorite phrase, sell without selling. Okay, so for lesson 1, we are starting with your core network. So what is your core network? It's people that you know. It can be from all different areas of your life. I used to think that it had to only be people that I knew in a professional capacity, but life experience has taught me that you never know where your next client will come from. It can be, through people you've met through a hobby or social media or a contact you made during an internship forever ago. So I've outlined some examples here just to help you think a little bit outside the box if you're similar to me in that you were thinking very narrowly about what a network was. So it can be from previous roles, so colleagues, former bosses, mentors, previous clients, mentorships outside of your company or outside of a professional sphere, someone that you've looked up to and has, nurtured your growth throughout the years, friends, family, internship contacts, like I mentioned, and then people you've met just living your life. So why start here? I've found that it's more accessible, it's easier, it's more conversational to start with these people that you already know and have a relationship with. They're already rooting for you. This feels like a lower stakes way to get that networking muscle going and getting more comfortable with talking about your goals and the fact that you want to start your own business. It can feel a little vulnerable. It can feel a little scary to go broadcast that out in the world. So this is a baby step of getting more comfortable talking about starting a business. You can start building that muscle within your core network. Just feels a little bit easier, a little bit more accessible. All right, the natural progression of leveraging your core network. The end result here is that your circle expands. So if you think about your network, the folks in your network, they have their own networks. And so when you tell these folks your updates, your wants, your goals, it's likely that it'll spur an idea for them to connect you to someone else who you can talk to. So I wouldn't view this as trying to convert the people within your immediate circle into becoming clients, but it opens up doors for you to further build your network. And the more people you meet, the more opportunities you have. So that's kind of been my mindset throughout building and scaling my business is if I've got a friend of a friend who wants to talk to me, that's already a much warmer audience than some random person that I've never met before. It's a very good way to meet new people that, you already have something in common with, in that you have a shared connection, and expand your network and grow in a really organic, relationship based way. All right, how to help your network help you. Anytime I am talking with other freelancers or folks who want to start a freelance business, I always ask them, how can I help you? And I mean that legitimately. But one thing that starts to come out, if they haven't really refined their service offering, it's difficult for me to then refer business to that person, because I don't know the ideal type of client they're looking for. I don't know if they have a particular industry that they serve. So again, taking our lessons from module 1, this is where it comes into real world practice. So say you're having a conversation with someone in your immediate network. You tell them, hey, I'm really excited. I'm starting my own freelance PPC business. Their next question is likely going to be, oh, what kind of clients do you serve? So that's where having a clear, succinct elevator pitch, the service you provide, who you serve, problems you solve, all of those from module 1, where that really comes into play. Make it easy for your network to help you. That is my number one tip that I have for leveraging your network, is do the work for them. Make it easy for your network to help you by doing the homework of having that elevator pitch. Make it short and sweet. I've even sent like little about me service blurbs via email to folks in my network to make it easy when they're having conversations, or even if they're looking through their contacts on LinkedIn or their meetings to try to connect me with folks. So that's my best advice that I have when leveraging your network. All right, tips for reaching out and re-engaging your core network. Number 1 is be genuine. And just because you know someone does not mean you should reach out to them. And I say that because if you know someone really well, but you don't like them, don't reach out to them and pretend to be friends just to get clients. There can even be some, powerful people in your network, but if you don't like the way they operate or wouldn't want to work with folks that they're associated with, do not reach out to them just to get a client. And in terms of the actual outreach for the core network that you want to engage with, you can DM them on LinkedIn, you can text them if you have their phone number, email them, whatever makes sense to you. I would keep it light and breezy, ask how they're doing, put in a personal note if they just changed companies or they got a promotion or something, and give your updates as well. And then you can ask if they'd be interested in catching up. Again, it doesn't have to be a very scary, formal thing. Networking is really just talking and making friends. Another key tip that I have is be upfront if you ask them to meet. I cannot tell you how many ambiguous coffee invites I've gotten, and unless I know the person very well, I am not inclined to take those because I don't know what I'm getting into. And so if you're having a back and forth with someone in your network and you're like, hey, like we should meet up for coffee, definitely give your updates ahead of time that you are starting your freelance PPC business, so they have that information before you ask for a coffee invite or even a virtual coffee invite. People just like to know what they're getting into. They don't want to feel lured into something where they could be pitched to in a captive environment. And last thing here is to treat outreach like you would a friend. I had somebody on LinkedIn ask me what tool I use for outreach and how I personalize my outreach. And I was like, I don't have a tool. I use my brain and my phone or my laptop, and I just treat these folks like I would a friend, like I would a human being. So that is my advice to you. All of this has to feel genuine. I feel like everybody is so sick of the personalized sales outreach. It's never personalized. It always feels like a pitch slap. It's honestly quite exhausting. So the best thing you can do to stand out is to actually be genuine in these interactions and lead with a human focused approach rather than, oh, I need to send out 500 cold emails so I can get leads in my sleep, or, whatever the bros are talking about these days in sales. All right, action items for your core network. Make a list of people who you have a relationship with, personal or professional, who you would feel comfortable reaching out to and providing your updates to. And your updates meaning your intention of starting a freelance PPC business. It can feel a little scary to be vulnerable with these goals and these updates. So I would recommend almost tiering the list for people that you feel most comfortable opening up to. And if you haven't done it from the last module, clearly outline your service offering and your ICP, your ideal customer profile. This will help your network help you. So don't give your network homework. Do the homework for them and make it easy for them to connect you with folks so that you can expand your network. And then to keep it time bound, this week, take an action item to send out at least 3 outreach messages to folks who are in your core network. It doesn't have to be anything high pressure, 3 outreach messages to folks in your core network. And then next up, we've got lesson 2, which is expanding your network. So I will see you over there.